it up somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my straight talk family. We're gonna keep moving on until we reach the top somehow. That's the gist and the lyrics of that theme song. Then I know it is time for me to say good night to all my straight talk family in St. Kitts and Nevis and throughout the entire Caribbean region. To my straight talk family in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora, I say greetings to all who are logged on to zizonline.com. And I know that you are all over the world because you're on the World Wide Web. And the world today is like a global village, and we all are just part or a village within the global city. And I've been thinking long and hard about this situation in my own beloved country of St. Kitts and Nevis. But I have not heard any news except the vaccination rollout. But I'm gonna go on the premise tonight that no news is good news. I'll hail my brother Chico. He's going out and I'm coming in. And I know you are all over the world in Asia, Europe, Africa, and there are a whole lot of you right all over North America. So I am going to say good night. I'll also say good afternoon. And in some cases, I can say good morning. Because one of such greetings is applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And we are all in the same boat, so to speak, battling this dreadful disease of COVID. If you are joining me for the first time, Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest. Again, it's a public service program, and we discuss all issues. They must be of national interest, be they legal, they can be environmental, they can be technological, social, economic, and of course, what always come to the fore are those political issues. But we provide an opportunity and we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give God Almighty thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation, my people, on yet another occasion. If you're a first time as well, I trust and hope it won't be a last time. I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we entertain your emails, and if you're so minded to participate, you can access the program via 465-2555. That's a local number. It has 3 lines, so just be patient. And if you're in the diaspora, you can access the program via 718-577-2916. Again, that's 718-577-2916. There are many of you who just like the cloak of anonymity. And I give you an opportunity to hide behind your keyboards. Just be respectful. And you can access the program by our email platform ZIZSTRAIGHTTALK. That's one word, ZIZ straight talk at gmail.com. And my straight talk family, it's been nigh 58 or 60 weeks, thereabout. 60 weeks ago would take us back to March of 2020, when we in St. Kitts started to fight in an unconventional war against the coronavirus-induced pandemic called COVID-19. And before I forget, I want to say a special good night to my fellow constituents in East Bastille. And I want to thank you for your messages of support and for reaching out to me. And I can assure you, I'm not going to leave you. I will be around. That's where I was born, that's where I was raised, and that's where I still reside. You know me, and I know you. But just to continue, for almost 50 of those weeks, as soldiers, we were equipped with non-pharmaceutical weapons. In our army of about 55,000 soldiers, we had to sanitize our hands on a regular basis, and every conscript over 5 years old had to wear a mask. Those of us on the battlefront were ordered to avoid fighting in clusters, as it would have been more effective if we kept a physical distance of 6 feet from each other. This strategy worked throughout this seemingly never-ending war, because only 45 of our soldiers were wounded. Just 45 were infected by the virus. But fortunately, and I say fortunately, back then, none of these 45 soldiers were hospitalized, and thank God, none of them died. Hope sprung alive amongst us, and just over 12 weeks ago, however, in February, our allies sent us a pharmaceutical weapon called the AstraZeneca vaccine. Since receiving the weapon, or this tool, or this instrument of international medical warfare, distribution of this tool has not gone to plan, I would admit. With the aim of distributing these tools or vaccines to a minimum of 70% of our soldiers. As of today, the 14th of June 2021, some 31,921 or 61% of the soldiers has received their weapons or tools to fight this war in the form of the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Some 10,117 soldiers have been totally vaccinated. Of those doses administered, some 24,000 doses were administered on St. Kitts, and just under 8,000, 7.5 thousand to be exact, doses were administered on Nevis. And my straight dog family, the report I do have, which is the last report from the CMO is telling us that we have 187 cases to date, and I pray to God it has not moved. My Stray Dog family, are we having some difficulties, Alva? If so, please.
I'm not getting
let me
anything
know.
from you, Mr. Liburd.
You're not?
I'm not getting anything from you.
From me?
Yeah.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
Then let's see how we can work that out, my Stray Dog family.
I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Alva say he ain't hear me.
Okay, check it.
So whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve, because I do the things I should, to my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve, because I do the things I should, to my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Hello?
up somehow. That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Okay, my straight dog family, we seem to have had some difficulty, technical difficulties there. Forgive us, but you know, but these things happen. I got the information that we were not in fact hearing the audio that I tried to play in reference to the amount of cases we've had. An update from the chief medical officer. Nonetheless, I'll try this one in terms of the factors that's fueling all these cases. Let's see if this works.
What are the factors fueling this wave of cases? And so based on the data we have gleaned through our contact tracing process, these are the factors fueling this wave of cases. There seems to be a level of resistance to COVID-19 and anything COVID-19 related. There is some complacency and inaction. So last year, March, April, during our first wave, we had persons on board in terms of wearing their face masks, hand sanitization, physical and social distancing. But at present, there seems to be a level of complacency and inaction. And this is not helping, it's driving or it's causing an increase in the number of positive cases. Social distancing.
Okay, we've had some difficulty again, but there are some factors really causing this wave. And this has required my straight dog family public health measures to restrict the movement of persons for a period of time, and in the process limit the invasion of the enemy. Yes, limit the spread of this dreadful, this deadly virus. And my straight dog family, we have introduced some measures like these.
After a thorough evaluation of the situation on the ground, the Cabinet has agreed that we needed to restrict the movement of people to contain the movement of the virus. We will therefore place the country under lockdown as of Saturday the 12th June from 6 p.m. for 14 days to Saturday the 26th June in the first instance. Under this lockdown, the Cabinet has determined that people should stay at home over the next 2 weeks. There shall be a curfew daily from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Yes, my straight dog family, a curfew from 6 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the Federation. In essence, we have 2 weeks to get the situation under control. In Nevis, though, there is a slight variation to this order. And on Saturday the 13th, Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, made this announcement.
We have closed the schools in Nevis in support of the national effort. We have restricted our buses to 50% passenger capacity and imposed a curfew on divisions, all in support of the national effort. But in all that we do, we must not lose sight of the fact that I and my cabinet were put here by the will of Almighty God and by the people of Nevis to serve them to the best of our ability. Serving them means listening to them and seeking to make decisions which are in their best interests while not harming the national interest. To this end, and after careful deliberations, I have advised the Honorable Prime Minister that government offices and businesses on Nevis shall remain open, provided that all protocols as to mask wearing, physical distancing, and hand sanitizing are in place. All workers then should report to work on time and wearing their masks. It will be for the individual businesses to determine how best to schedule their workers to ensure the overall objective of keeping Nevis safe.
Premier Mark Brantley further explained the decision of the NIA.
For the avoidance of doubt, our people are still allowed to attend church services and undertake their business during the hours of 5 a.m. and 6 p.m. each day. Our construction workers are still permitted to go to work. I, however, urge everyone else not to leave your home unless you absolutely have to. There is no need at this difficult time for drinking and liming and carousing. Please stay home unless you must go out for work or some other essential purpose.
And yes, my straight up family, it's time to protect ourselves. It's time to get your vaccines. That's the decision we have to make. And I agree with Mark Brantley.
A time comes to every man and nation when we must decide. I believe that that time is now. This is not a time for rancor or obstinacy. This is not a time for us to get serious about protecting our families, our communities, and our beloved island. I therefore urge you to get vaccinated. Let us not wait until this deadly virus strikes us at our homes to say, I wish I had known. Please, my brothers and sisters, I urge you to act, and to act now. The monstrous murderer COVID is at our doorstep, and we must do all within our power to keep it at bay. Let us say no to COVID and yes to vaccination. The life we save might well be our own.
My fellow citizens, many have fallen ill to this deadly virus. A few have been hospitalized, and I wish them all a full and speedy recovery. Some of us are gloating. That's not a good thing to do. You never know when your time and hour will come. So let's wish all of them well, no matter who they are, no matter of their political shade. We wish them a full and speedy recovery. My message to you tonight, my fellow citizens and residents, is very simple. The more of us get vaccinated, then the chances of community spread of this deadly virus would be less. What is going on now in our beloved country would not continue, or even if it happens, it would be rather on a reduced scale. The Federation would be at a point where there's no need for lockdown or emergency measures, because enough of us would have been protected, and even if some of us are diagnosed as being positive with the virus, they would not have we would not have played up as we did and spread throughout the communities. My fellow citizens in St. Kitts and Nevis, that is the basic principle that our health officials have been preaching for a very long time. So tonight, even though we have gone 66%, some 31,920 persons have been vaccinated. Only of that 24,364 in St. Kitts and 7,500 on Nevis. The first dose, 66%. Second dose, 30.6%. But please get vaccinated. And it is well known, no matter what you hear them say, the best vaccine is the vaccine that's available. The best vaccine is the vaccine that's available.
If you look and if you get a choice, what I tell people all the time is the best vaccine to get is the one that's available to you first, because they're all going to protect you against COVID, which is what we want.
Yes, the best vaccine is the one that's available to you first. My people, if we all get vaccinated, then there will be no need to restrict our movements, no need for emergency measures. And this scientific approach has been proven all over the world. Here in New York, it's opening up because millions have been vaccinated. I don't want to come home and go to medical jail. If I come home, I'll be sentenced to 9 days in quarantine. I call it jail. I don't want to do that. I want to come home for Christmas, have Mass for Christmas. But my straight dog family, we have to do the right thing. In St. Kitts and Nevis, there's no crisis. And in spite of the latest news, the NEOC, HEOC, and the team in the government are still managing the situation well. As I said, 4 people are hospitalized. If it gets to 40, God forbid, then we would have a crisis on our hands. Our health system will be overwhelmed. Getting vaccinated, I know, should be a personal choice. And as citizens, we have a choice. We have a right, rather, to choose. I listened attentively to the information provided on the vaccines and the education and advice provided in relation to side effects and any risks associated with the vaccine. Some have raised questions, legitimate questions about, for example, a blood clot, and that has been addressed. You have raised your questions about the blood clot, and yes, it has been addressed, my straight dog family.
Internationally, I think a lot of people who are hesitant in St. Kitts are concerned about AstraZeneca and the likelihood of clotting, and I'm wondering if there's a move to get Pfizer here and what it will take to get it here. Thank you so much.
Yes, you have a choice, but all have different side effects, and that's addressed by Medical Chief of Staff before Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, doing such a wonderful job.
Health authorities in several European countries suspended the use of AstraZeneca vaccine following reports of formation of blood clots in some persons who were vaccinated. It is important to note that blood clots can occur naturally and are not uncommon. The WHO data shows that of the 268 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines that were administered worldwide, no serious side effects or deaths have been found to be caused by them. They have continued to report that AstraZeneca is an excellent vaccine and that no causal relationship had been established between the shots and the health problems that were identified, and that vaccination should continue.
My straight dog family, speaking of side effects, it is my understanding that one gets more side effects from contracting the virus than from taking the vaccine. But again, it is your choice. I appreciate and understand the concerns raised. And I myself was scared before I took my vaccine. But now, even though I still wear my mask and sanitize my hands, I can testify that I feel protected from the possibility of being hospitalized and going to the ICU and, God forbid, to the morgue. So I strongly detest those who use certain platforms to divide the country and politicize the vaccine, which is a health issue and nothing else. I strongly detest those who prey on the unsuspected poor people in St. Kitts and Nevis, who are the ones to suffer first and the same ones who will suffer most, especially a supposedly trained health professional, albeit he's retired, who knows this, but he's encouraging vaccine hesitancy. This one is promoting vaccine hesitancy. And he knows this. Listen to him.
Vaccine is the single most effective way to keep people out of hospital and out of the morgue.
Did you hear him? That's the former CMO. Listen to him again.
Vaccine is the single most effective way to keep people out of hospital and out of the morgue.
Vaccine is the single most effective way to keep people out of hospital and out of the morgue. And this is a doctor. And over 90% of doctors have already been vaccinated. More than 90% of the doctors on St. Kitts and Nevis have been vaccinated. Underline that, my straight dog family. So if more than 90% of the doctors, why are you listening to this panic factory with another co-worker who comes as clueless and, truth be told, seemingly groundless? What is happening, my straight dog family, now in the Federation is saddening and could have been avoided, but for some people, my straight dog family, for politics, lack of knowledge, certainly the actions of mainly 3 doctors in St. Kitts who continue to be hostile and antagonistic towards the government, who for the last 14 to 15 months has heeded to, yes, listened to, and always were guided, they were always guided by the scientific and medical advice coming from the HEOC, ably headed by the CMO, Dr. Hayes Laws, and assisted by Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, my straight dog family. These 3 doctors are hostile to the strategy employed by the Team Unity government in this deadly war against COVID-19. And would you believe, 2 of these doctors are opposition politicians. One is the leader of the opposition, and one is the chairman of the opposition, respectively. And the other doctor is a former chief medical officer. They must be considered reckless, and I submit they have left a moral stain on the medical fraternity and on our country. Remember, earlier in the war against COVID-19, the Cuban-trained doctor had plans to make millions of dollars with his Indian friend. He tried to come across as being altruistic and started with a donation with the ultimate aim towards flooding St. Kitts and Nevis with some rapid antibody test kits from China or India, pretending, as I said, he was altruistic. But then Minister Wendy Phipps was up to the trick, and she got on top of everything.
It would be remiss of me if I do not use this opportunity to also indicate that we would have received on the 26th of March a small donation by Dr. Terence Drew in the amount of 19 test strips. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Health cannot act on that donation. We have no way of verifying the efficacy of the test that can be done. So for the time being, we have basically shelved the donation, but we acknowledge it nevertheless and say thank you.
That was noble of you to acknowledge it. The Minister of Health back then, when the Pips smelt a rat and said, thanks, but no thanks, Dr. Jew. Now the doctor wants to become relevant and is suggesting that Prime Minister Harris must call he the chairman who cannot win a seat in Parliament, or call Douglas, who was kicked out of office. Imagine that. Imagine he's trying to be relevant and coming and making suggestions like this one.
The Prime Minister, in his capacity, needs to reach out to the leader of the opposition, and he knows that. At no point has the Prime Minister reached out to the leader of the opposition.
Or the chairman of the Labour Party. Or the chairman of the Labour Party.
Right. Right. I want to say to Timothy Harris, pick up the phone and call Dr. Denton. Show the country that the government and the opposition in the political path and the political unitary.
But why? Why would Dr. Harris, let's be honest, why should Timothy call Dougie, as Drew is suggesting, when Dougie don't tell the whole world that the vaccine got in water? Would he call him so that Dougie could say he changed his mind? Why? Why would he call him? Call him to tell him that the vaccine has in water?
No, one of the questions we have gotten here is what is in the vaccine. People are saying, well, they don't know what it is, and so if they don't know what it is, they don't want it in their bodies because they don't know what it's going to do. How could you allay such fears?
Right. And surprisingly, this morning, several people called and asked if it is water that these people are taking. I mean, that is the extent to which people have basically descended. I don't want to say what it is.
You see, my straight dog family? See why I asked the question? Why should the Prime Minister write Dougie to ask him if he still believes that water is in the AstraZeneca vaccine? For 20 years, Dougie ain't practiced medicine, so we don't even know if Dougie still has a license to practice. As I said before, there has been a standard of virtue always upheld on straight up. We don't speak academically and or in the abstract, or worse yet, hypothetically. Our discussion is always based on fact and truth. German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer sums it up well in a famous quotation when he said, and I quote, "All truth passes through three stages. First is ridiculed, second it is violently opposed, and third it is accepted as being self-evident. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, that has to be the truth." And the truth is, my straight dog family, there are some people who have genuine concerns, but there are others who, for their own selfish and political gain, continue to discourage persons from taking the vaccine, although they are fully aware that the mass vaccination is the way to get countries back to normal. But they are selfish and they are just seeking political gain, as I said, my straight dog family.
Immunization continues to be our path out of COVID's shadow. Unfortunately, there are still some in our country who want to cast doubt and the validity of our country's immunization program. While some persons have genuine concerns, there are others who, for their own selfish and political gain, have been discouraging persons from taking the vaccine, knowing full well that the experience everywhere in the world is that mass vaccination is the most effective way to protect yourself and get countries back to normalcy and out of the shadow of the pandemic.
My Sri Lanka family, no, this is a critical time in the life and history of St. Kitts Nevis. And these doctors, these 3 doctors I name, and others who are harming the public effort to beat the outbreak of the coronavirus are indeed, and we must mark them with a moral stain that cannot be easily washed off. A moral stain that they cannot be washed off easily. And I want to repeat something I said about 2 weeks ago. Any medical doctor in St. Kitts Nevis, or anyone for that matter, who took the 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, then turns around and tries to convince me to wait on another vaccine, whether from Cuba, Russia, the USA, or wherever. If you are not a medical doctor, I consider your conduct to be plain, downright hypocritical. On the other hand, if you are a medical doctor, like the former chief medical officer, and you have taken your 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and he has, but he turns around and tries to convince me to wait on another vaccine, I consider that conduct not only plain, downright hypocritical, but it is also unethical. It is irresponsible. I say so because my view is that such a position goes against the social and or the professional expectations of doing what is right. And I would even add, such conduct is immoral. Yes, it is immoral. And I formulated that view. I'll tell you why later in the program, my straight dog family. But hearing of those doctors, one I said is a former chief medical officer and is fully immunized. By that I mean he has taken 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, yet he continues to promote, even at this time, with our troubles, he still continues to promote vaccine hesitancy. He continues to do so with the full knowledge of the fact that the vaccine is the single most effective way to keep people out of the hospital and out of the morgue. Yes, he said so himself, my straight dog family. He said so himself.
It is the single most effective way to keep people out of hospital and out of the morgue.
Yes, the other doctor and leader of the opposition must have also taken his 2 doses of the AstraZeneca and is hiding that fact. But you should not be surprised, and you must not be fooled either, because he can hide the fact that he had 2 passports. It can't be difficult to hide the fact that he has taken his 2 doses of the vaccine. I am advised, my straight dog family, that he has. I cannot confirm, but he must come and tell us the truth, my straight dog family. You know, we have been taught by COVID that no matter how hard we try to avoid crises, they come into our lives. They are troubling, unwanted experiences or events that take us way out of our comfort zone. Most of us follow the rules and do the things that are right. But some of us, some others strongly believe that they have a right to be wrong. Now, there are different versions of the Bible. Some versions are easier to understand than others. You may have your view on the version which is easiest to understand, whether the King James Version, the American Standard Version, the New American Standard Bible, the New International Version, the Christian Standard Bible, or the English Standard Version. But there's an easy to read version, ERV, which was introduced many, many years ago, over 80 years ago. And I like this version of Ecclesiastes 9, verse 11. He said, life is not fair. And it reads in the easy to read version, and I quote, I also saw other things in this life that were not fair. The fastest runner does not always win the race. The strongest soldier does not always win the battle. Wise people don't always get the food. Smart people don't always get the wealth. Educated people don't always get the praise they deserve. When the time comes, bad things can happen to anyone. You know, you never know when hard times will come. Like fish in a net or birds in a snare, people are often trapped by some disaster that suddenly falls on them. I listened to this comment, my fellow citizens, from a frustrated citizen who claimed that he was fully vaccinated and should not get the knockabout like those who chose not to get vaccinated. Should those who are vaccinated be forced to suffer the same fate as those who are not vaccinated? And that's the point he was trying to make. We may laugh, but he has a point.
I don't think this is fair. I'm not supposed to be a hustler going in at 6 o'clock. Timothy need to change this. All who ain't vaccine, go in when 6. Me who vaccine supposed to be able to walk the streets. I think Timothy need to change this. Me not supposed to get same not about and me done fully vaccine. No. Who ain't do it? Let them there. Go in 6 o'clock. And left me up. Me not supposed to suffer.
Interesting perspective, my straight dog family. And that's the way I'm going to introduce my calls. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. I wanted to really speak about the vaccine, and you may want to raise other things as well, but it would neglect my duty if I didn't speak of the COVID. The numbers are 465-2555 and or 718-577-2916. Our email address is zizstraighttalk@gmail.com. I must implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And my straight dog family, let's in the process of saying and doing those things, strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. It's 6 before 9. I go to the lines and say, good night, caller, you are live. Hello, caller?
Hello?
Yes, turn your radio down, please. Are you there, caller? Just move away from your equipment. turn your radio down if it's radio.
Are you hearing me?
Just listen to your telephone.
Okay.
You're live.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Patrice, I want to bring to your attention, just 3 days ago, in Italy, where it is saying here that Italy halts AstraZeneca vaccine for under 60 years. AstraZeneca vaccine for under 60. The Italian government said on Friday it was restricting the use of the AstraZeneca COVID-19.
For under 16 or 60?
After having AstraZeneca vaccine in Italy. That is what I wanted to bring to your attention. Just 3 days ago, that vaccine the person had blood clot.
Did you say under 16 or under 60?
Pardon me? Yeah, under 18 years old. The person was 18 years old. After having AstraZeneca vaccine, they died from it 3 days ago in Italy.
Well, they're not
that is all we have to say
to Okay, thanks a lot for your input.
Yes,
thanks for the information.
That on the internet.
Okay, thank you very much. But they're not administering vaccines to persons under the age of 18 years. If that is so, that's unfortunate. But like we said, AstraZeneca is being used as we speak in over 146 countries around the world. And it has been proven. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Honorable. Now,
how are you?
I'm giving thanks, sir. Now, let me explain something to you. I heard some comments on the radio. Well, it's an everyday thing. You know, it's an everyday thing. If the Prime Minister or any members of government who belongs to the team Unity and they don't like, they criticize them all day on the radio. So, I am saying to my good friend, John L. Powell, be careful. Be careful. That same radio station, he could not go on. And when Pam was needed, that same radio station, with all the offers that Pam did them, they still turned them down. But today, he's glorifying himself on it. Mind you, I can't tell him what to do. He's a big man, and he should know what he's doing. I noticed that he chose to go on the 10th of June on top of that radio station. But when they start on him, he's saying he never born yet. You understand me? And he never around them time. And all them kind of talk. But all I could tell him, just be careful himself with that radio station particularly. Now, when I heard the statement today, what they're making, and jumping all up and down the place about Mark Brantley said this, Mark Brantley said that, and he don't know what's going on, and this and that and that. When the Prime Minister made the statement, what he made, he said his cabinet to sit and to decide on it. I don't know if virtually or by phone or what it is. Now, I am a dumb boy, they say, but I don't ask the meaning of curfew and lockdown. Let me explain it in my version. Now, the government said you could go, do what shopping you have to do, buy your groceries, buy your pharmacies, and etc. Right? Between the hours of 5 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon. Now, that is a curfew. But when you reach home 6 in the afternoon, and you don't have the proper documents to go back outside here, you are locked down. You are locked down. So the place you have to lock down because you don't have the proper documents to go out after 6 o'clock on the road. So you are locked down. So what is in that for people to parade in themselves saying the Prime Minister can't read the speech and the Prime Minister can't do this and can't do that? You understand me? Them ain't went no school, you know. Them went college. And the Prime Minister is 10 times brighter than any one of them. You understand me? So I don't know what is the serious problem. And the more light the burn is the more the Prime Minister going to see you way. You understand me? And when they dig in dish, let her dig the dish for themselves. Now, I heard my good friend today talking about some money he was supposed to get from the government and the whole back $44,000 and something like that. Well, I know over the years, if you're working for government and you're supposed to get leaving government and they're paying you off for what it is, they call you on the place to find out what all you owe and who all you owe in government, and they take out the one and give you the rest. So I just don't understand that. And remember, the same man who was talking, you know, he had a confusion with the college and money too. You understand me? So I don't know what is the behavior or what is the thing. Now, let's go back now to the vaccine with water in it. This vaccine what we get was donated to us from Dominica. Where doggy, you know, where he say he from? He say he from Dominica because he had the passport. So what he are doing now is insulting his good friend, Mr. Skerritt, Roosevelt Skerritt, to send in vaccine down here with water in it. Patches, don't bother with them. They're going to burn and burn until they burn their own self out. Because don't care where you turn it, it's unity again. But all I want them guys to do, follow that song I sing, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Anytime you come out of your lane, you're going to end up like Doggy and them. You understand me? So that is all I have to tell them. And God bless your patches, and God bless the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and God bless the CMO and she team and doctor, everybody, and God bless St. Kitts and Nevis, and my honorable Prime Minister, my beloved Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Patrick, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, the People's King. Let's be honest. Rocky ain't a dumb boy with that kind of reasoning. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Yes, caller, just... Okay. Yeah, Rock can't be no dumb boy with that kind of rational he advance. But never mind, a Stray Dog family. Let's go back to the lines. This time it's 9:03.
Good night to the Ambassador Ian Patches Liburd. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Politics.
Representing us out in the United Nations. Patches, I just want to tell Brother Rock. The tree guy was on today in the panic factory, making all kind of allegations and saying all kind of things. You understand? The three of them is three failures. Them three, they only could get you when they want to leech on government. You understand? They cannot leech on Dr. Harris and the unity government. So that's the problem. The problem is not the problem is not no corona, no. The corona could come and destroy things for them one part. Because they got a problem with Dr. Harris and they got a problem with unity. Three failures. You understand? In this federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So they have nothing to tell nobody. Because they were with Labour, Dr. Douglas, who was there. And Dr. Douglas ignored them because of the ignorance and the greediness. And because Dr. Harris now get the prime ministership and they was there with Dr. Harris, they want to come and do as like and say as they like and feel like they could have get Dr. Harris to do what Dr. Douglas was doing with them. But not a thing like that. We say unity and we remain in unity. And patches all of them talking about the vaccine this and the vaccine that and talking about the lockdown. And only the poor people are going to feel it and all kind of things. You understand? But they may just fake and fraud and fake news. Because they have nothing to come to the people with. And can't rock. I don't know where General dug up on the panic factory station for. I don't know where they got there for. I'm a PAM, a support PAM. They have no use of PAM. The manager of the station, all of them, they have no use of PAM. I know they have no use of PAM. I'm a PAM before Janelle because he just banned. They have no use of PAM. And going in the station and coming talking asking all kind of negative question and all kind of thing about 1967 and all kind of thing. You understand? Another they're going to fix it up with that. Patches, I just want the unity government to continue, do what they got to do to this country, and forget about their failures, because there's nothing. They're so educated. And I don't remember let Miss Minister Politics and Brother Rock. I show that we have a common sense to finance ourselves without leech and any government for nothing. Patches, you have a wonderful night. May God bless you and keep you. That is the problem. Just leech. They want leech from the government.
Have a wonderful night as well, my Shredog family. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Patches, good night.
Good night.
How are you tonight?
My dear, I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm peaceful too. I just want to try me 2 cents tonight. I want to say something about Mr. Politics left off. Because I also listen to a radio station today. These people isn't nothing but some good for nothing misleaders. Never one time they could come on the radio and say, okay, people are this thing is a serious thing. Let me work together. We all in it together so we could get over this and this pandemic. What's going on? Every minute they're on the radio and misleading people. The same set of people who tear down Douglas, now they want to tear down the Prime Minister Harris. Oh, Prime Minister can't wait for his turn. But them also couldn't wait for the turn either. That is why you see the turn against the Prime Minister. But when you see people can't ride over you, and do you act like you and them ain't going to be no friend. The Prime Minister to experience with them, they can't ride over him, and that is why they ain't going to be no friend with him. As long as they could use you and one you and twist you, everything will be okay. The Prime Minister, you just tell them more time for them, back up. Talking about the Prime Minister shut down the Prime Minister ain't do nothing wrong. All the small business, them suffering. Right now, it's like our money. Money cannot buy health. When they end up in the hospital now, they bring in out to train on the doctors and the nurses too. One of them say, I hear them, oh, anything happens to me if I take the vaccine, who going to take care of me and me train them? But when I put in such a strain on the hospital, who going to take care of the nurses and the doctors and family too? Practice they put in too much of politics in this thing, and if they only take politics out of this thing, everything will run smooth because everybody will come in under the same umbrella. Ain't got a vaccine named Timothy Harris. Everything the Prime Minister trying his best to keep people safe. He ain't doing nothing wrong. Is the world going to this? If small businesses close down, let's just say that the Almighty God that things could get back. But right now he ain't doing nothing wrong. Think it is too small. Forgot there's another case. Every minute you hear cases going up. It ain't like America. They're not gonna like a hospital. People, I do not listen to the wrong set of people. There's some good for nothing misleader. They was with the Prime Minister. Now they want to go back with the same Douglas. That's what they have no use for them. If you want to make a difference, go and form a party and call yourself perfect, Mr. the perfect party. Because when Prime Minister Harris the one in, I never hear him say, Harris perfect. He said, Harris again. And talking about how the Prime Minister run this, and he trying to get his own party. Putting word in people's mouth. Eh? For him to take out the man of break, he trying his best. He ain't perfect. Government gone, government come is the same thing. You do your damn and you ain't do your damn. So what we gonna do? I can't turn nobody money from Timothy Harris. I only making yourself look so some foolish. I am trying to mislead people. I was with Prime Minister Harris, but I couldn't wait for your turn now. If I didn't wait for your turn, let's get what you want. And practice good now. You're talking about you too, you know. And all who don't like what I say, I just throw me ball outside and turn over my bed. That's all I got to do. Practice, I know you, and you know me. And I know you
know me.
So you have a safe night. I'm Prime Minister. What can break you, going to only make you stronger. Tell them back off and give them more time. The more time you give them, the more time they're going to talk and they're going to test. They're going to hang themselves. I back up. I some good for nothing misleaders. That's why I be. Come join with the Prime Minister, man, and let them get away with this damn thing we're going on and stop finding fathers and can men. Pretty bit out is no help, is no use. If I know the country going through a crisis, put all your money where your mouth and help the Prime Minister and stop finding fathers. Some good for nothing misleaders. That's why I be. Practice good night. Who don't like what I say? So me go outside. Bye.
Thank you very much, my dear. It's 9:12. We go straight back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good night, Patrick. This is Dumpling speaking. Patrick, I went for my vaccine today, the last one, and somebody was down the clinic talking to me. They tell me to ask you a question. So I want to ask you now, because I don't afraid the radio, I don't care what nobody gonna say about me, because this ain't like once upon a time. When I hear them sit, I show up. That is, the woman asked me to ask you, what's the problem between you and Dr. Simmons? Because she says she hear you reading out an email. I told her I hear you with it too. But I told her, the people them who write in email, they must learn to respect Dr. Simmons. Because Dr. Simmons born in Taylor, Rosemary Lane. And he is part of Newtown. He living now up Boardwalk. And if the ball don't write the email, call in like me Dumpling and say, well, Simmons, this tower and that tower. They're waiting and every minute calling on the road. Whether I'm back to the man for, if they had a caucus, he voting in Newtown, he must go. If he choose to go, he go. Done with this stupidness, because that is a lot of them, you know, who writing these border emails. They come up Nevis when they sign in and pay the money to come up for these three wonderful parties to be together. I want the party them stay together, not bull-ragging and going on with the stupidness. You understand? Because Labour people silent, you know, because they send out the demon to harass unity. But I praying for unity to stay together, because I love my Prime Minister, and I love Dr. Simmons, and I love all of you. So I want this thing done, just like you hear me say, I tell the woman. So if I have a problem with Dr. Simmons, let me turn with that. Let me turn with that. This railway story and got them and radio station chatting the load of stupidness about are you? Because Japan is the first to come on the radio and say so, you know. Japan. So I tell her I will go on the radio. She tell me she will listen tonight. Anyhow, this is what I have to say, Patrice. This is what I have to say. Men hiding to say what I have to say. Because they just put me on the phone them with the monkey them. But I don't talk tonight and say what I have to say. Patrice, what is the problem between you and Shani? Because I met Shani and I asked, you know, what the problem? She said, she ain't doing nothing. You understand? But I didn't hear them down in the square when the voting business was going on. And they was in the square abusing and saying all kind of thing. And one of my friends, I could call her name, because we went to listen to support you. Them and direct clash had abusing in the square. You understand? As you say, needed. This was a very story. Man, let me live together. Let me join hands in hands. Shani, and Shani told me she mother and her two sisters and her brother went and vote for you. She don't know why these people calling her name in mix-up story. You understand? She said the same that how she cut cross with school bag. She said she give back. She community people who help her when she went through to be she loyal. Give them back something. She ain't against nobody. She's a Pam. You're the Pam. Everybody is Pam unity. You understand? Patrice, another one say a lot of things about me, but Patrice may study them, but I just come to give you a little message. But the lady tell me to ask you. And Patrice, you and Dr. Simmons in anything? Let me hear him out say yes or no. I know you could express yourself.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know if that deserves a response, really.
You ain't have no response.
I said, I don't know if that deserves a response. I mean, Dr. Simmons is the national hero.
But that's what I tell the lady.
The national hero.
I said they're supposed to respect him.
Anyway, okay, Dumpling, I think give you a lot of time as usual. I think there is
I won't come back again.
Anything else?
I won't come back again.
Okay.
Because I have more to say.
Okay, my dear.
Mr. Harris, don't mind what I said today about you, about vaccine. You, Dr. Wilkerson, and the lady, what's your name? Lord, you ain't gonna lab. You ain't have no lab. Because if you had lab, you would not got the cases up there on top of the bed, laying down.
Okay.
See you.
Okay, Lydia.
This is dumpling. Not the Lydia,
Manners.
this is dumpling. Big fat dumpling
Lydia
from
Dumpling
West
Mantis. Okay. That's the one anybody sing about? Okay. Let's go straight back to the lines. Call your line.
Yes, good evening, Patrice. You call us the next take too long, and then I believe nobody want to know what 20 days done, and then get in the show. Because you call us the oracle of story. If PAM do wrong thing, they do wrong thing. If Labour do wrong, they do wrong. If Unity do, they do. You see you. Have a good night.
I agree.
Have the money done.
Well, that's my Labour friend. She was short tonight. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Yeah. Blessed and honorable party Liburd.
Blessed, my brother.
Yeah. Patrice, our present community spread of the COVID is said that come by a man who come here in the Federation who deal with the matters of the hub. You hear me? Is that is so?
I'm listening.
Yeah, if that is so, it means that our problem come because we are hypocritical. You know what I mean? The community spread. Because the local man still paying money in court for her up to the 28th of last month. So how come that we bring people to deal with herb and at the same time we are charging local man for herb continuously? It was said to us that matters like these ain't happen no more. Nobody gonna pay the money in court for the herb, no. That was said to us leading up to the 2020 election, no. You hear me?
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So we can accept the herb as something good and economical for us. But we continue to charge people in the court for small portion of herb. That must be wrong. It must be wrong. And it must stop. We can't continue the wrong. Election is over now. Okay. So it's time to charge people for herb. You can't be right, man. You got to stop that. You got to stop charging people for herb. Because the herb is a blessing from the Almighty. And you and the government of the Federation accept that the herb is good and economical for us. That's why we bring people to deal with the herb and at the same time I come spread our community with all kind of things. Come on, man. We can't continue to abuse the situation like that, man. It was said to us that these things ain't gonna happen again. Leading up to the 2020 election. We got to deal with this foolishness, brother. We can't continue this foolishness. It must stop. Nobody gonna pay the money on the court for the herb, and nobody gonna jail for the herb. That must done with. That is wrong. We can't continue that wrong.
Okay?
Yeah, blessed man.
Blessed, my brother. I don't recall exactly the content of the legislation, but I know there's some quantum factor involved. But let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Yeah, Patches. Megan.
Yes, sir.
Patches, people like Lydia Dumpling Manners. People like Alice in Wonderland. And people like me. And to our good friend, the smiling lady with the dimples. And to Vinetta. All of us were Star Pam in those times. And back in the 70s, under the late Robert Bratcher, everybody know what the People's Action Movement went through. They could not meet in certain places where they're not going to crowd. They got to go in the square or got to go somewhere about the place. That's nothing about here. You understand? And now that from getting 1980 farm government and from 1993 the farmer leader said it's over a 15 years government. He over a 15 years government. And Pam had a lot of horrors going to 1995. She had vote, do all kinds of things just to keep himself in government. And look at it, the problem with Dr. Harris and Sam Tanda, they decided they ain't going to take it no more. And it is over. He fired Dr. Harris. And we form unity. And unity win the government handsomely. And everybody was going because of Dr. Harris and Sam Kanda, that caused that to happen. And the government was going good. So what the problem now, Patrick? What the problem now? We want to know what the problem now. Because 2021, they went back, 2020, they went back to election, and Unity win the election handsomely again, win it by the majority of votes again, a landslide. And you're going to tell me that don't you think that we're supposed to endorse a Unity for the next term, achieve a term pattern? We cannot go turn against Unity. If we turn against Unity, and anybody wants to destroy Unity, when they destroy Unity, because I know that what Dr. Harris has done. Even the manager for the panic station, he more than you for PAM. And all of them not use PAM, after the canton. And I come about the panic station and I come about this, I come about that. I don't like it. What is the doctor? You see the Prime Minister over there? The Prime Minister don't go there because he know the reason why he don't go there. They don't like him. And everybody will set him up and start anything about him. What is your wonderful? Dumpling, good night.
Yes, my brother, thank you very much. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Mr. Patrick. Good night, Mr. Patrick.
Good night. How are you?
I'm fine, I'm great and wonderful. Now, Mr. Patrick, I was reading my Bible tonight, and I want to tell you something, right? Listen to me carefully. In Proverbs chapter 6, if you really hold a Proverbs chapter 6, it tells you about liars. And I can tell you something. When I heard something today, God tell Peter, must go down to the sea. And the first fish he get, take it out and go and pay his taxes. The Bible says, render unto Caesar that is Caesar. Render unto God what is God. And if you cannot pay your taxes, how you go on a government? You say, I am going to listen to the whole thing today. And I come to one conclusion that the people who are following unity and the Japan, they were talking about poor people. But when they get what they want, they fall out by the way. And that I understand today, because when I listen, I say, yeah, the situation is it. How in God heavens, you gonna you tell somebody what you want, or because they don't give you resign? Man, you mustn't follow in the unity because of unity. You follow what you could get. And one time I hear the Prime Minister, I am holding on under you. When you say, I am going to tell you something, Mr. Patches. Remember this here? And I always remember you. Psalm 15 says, God put up and God put down. Everything in this world is God doing. Some people don't know what is God, and they really, I am sorry for them. Mr. Patrick, Nobody got the left in the hand. This minute we are, and this minute we gone. But these people, and I wonder if they don't believe that the Bible says you must obey them who are in authority. Obey them. Even if you don't know them, you're supposed to obey them according to the word of God. But they ain't doing it. He turned back home and said, you must pray for them. But these people, as Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7, whatso a man soweth, he shall also reap. And I ain't right now. God touch not the Lord anointed. Me not frightened all. God Moses and God tell Samuel, touch not the Lord. Samuel said, he ain't gonna touch the Lord anointed. David said so. David got time to kill Saul. David said, I am not going to touch the Lord anointed. And these people who called opposition, they are trampling, and they're going to get what coming to them. Sometimes I tell two persons was on a radio station, and I tell one of them, tell it to them, God is going to deal with them. And right now, one of the radio station, you can't tell you have to hear him out. And it is time for people to really understand God do not play. When God move you, God move you. And when God reject you, God reject you. It no matter about it. And God who the universe. And nobody, the Bible says, what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his one soul? The word of God says, you come in out of your mother's womb and empty-handed shall return. Leave the poor people alone. Stop fooling off the poor people when you ain't get what you want. If you get what you want, you know how to talk about the poor people. See what Patches?
Okay.
Have a pleasant night, and I wish you all the best. Thank you. See you.
Thank you very much. Let's dispense of some of these emails for a moment there, Alva. Patches, you were listening to some jackasses on that radio station today, Brain. Well, I had a good laugh. It seemed to me only jokes they were given, for nothing they said made sense and had no impact on sensible people. They are a set of publishers, reads this email. This other email reads, last week a caller called Freedom Radio to ask Sam to explain in more details the statement he made concerning Douglas's involvement in Zambo's assassination. Boy, Juni and Martin quickly intervened with the words, caller, we're not going down that road, and cut off the caller. The gentleman called back again and demanded an answer to his question, and they turned him off again. What a shame. It's now left for me to wonder if Judy and Martin were part of that heinous plan. Let me warn them that one day they will have to pay. Reads this other email. This email reads, I have no problem with persons born outside of St. Kitts making St. Kitts their home. After all, St. Kitts Nevis has more people living outside of St. Kitts than who live in the Federation. Many of the foreigners also make a tremendous contribution to the Federation. Where I have a problem, however, is that each additional person that comes to reside in the Federation increases the population, hence, the number of persons who are needed to be vaccinated to achieve herd immunity becomes greater. It bothers me, therefore, when people who come from abroad increase the population but refuse to take the vaccine. This adds more pressure on the government to achieve herd immunity, and it should not be tolerated. I have no apologies to suggest that if you are not born in St. Kitts Nevis and refuse to take the vaccine, such people should be asked to leave, reads that email. No turning back. This email reads, Patches, the genie is out of the lamp. Now Mark Putin has taken his influence to a dangerous level. You are correct when you stated that Jonel and his followers who longed for control of government disrespected you, and you had to defend yourself and your political prowess. Ambassador, history and your constituency will absolve you. The day of reckoning upon us is upon us. The likes of Grant, Sean, and Powell is about to face the wrath of us in East Barcia. You know us, and we know you. Good night, reads that email. This other email reads, when you play clips from from people like the former CMO, do you personally listen to the show, or do persons send you snippets? Because at the end of that show, the doctor clearly said to go out and get vaccinated, reads that email. I wish to bring your attention that there is a case which we have not heard or told about a gentleman in St. Kitts, about people dying. That's not worthy of being read tonight. I don't normally do that, but be not a propaganda station here. We bring you the facts. I want to ask Big Lice if he wanted the government to let him keep the $40,000 that he owed in taxes. He had the same problem with Douglas when he was at the college. Money is his problem. Free money. Money, what he in work for. A money hawk, talking about the Farm Foundation to do what? Rip off people? Why go and rest? You greedy, avaricious self. Nothing like you can stop Harris, reads this email. Let's go back to the lines. And those are the words of the emailers and not the views of Straight Talk and or the host of Straight Talk. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. You are live.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I am peaceful, sir. Yourself?
I'm grateful. I'm giving thanks. Patches, my concern is that I don't know if you have realized that there are people who are walking in town without masks, even though the authorities say that you must walk with your mask. Now, I solely blame the Commissioner of Police. He's the one in charge of the law, and he should enforce the law. Now, I suspect that there are people who are getting the $500 from the country. Now, why is it that I would like to take the $500 from the country, but I doesn't want the country to open up? So I don't want to take the vaccine. So that means then I should have a choice, either not to take the $500 and don't take the vaccine, or take the $500 and take the vaccine. That is my suggestion.
Thank you very much for that suggestion. We go back to the lines. Caller, you are live. Yes, caller? Are you there, caller? Okay, here's what. For that Facebook contributor referring to the 3 doctors, I referred to the 3 doctors, and you said they are the sound head of our federation. Avenel, please listen to this. Could you imagine if those doctors, the former CMO and the former Prime Minister, they couldn't handle a simple Barcia High School situation? When it came to Barcia High School, here's what the CMO said.
Ministry of Health has no evidence that there is contamination at the Barcia High School today. A year and a half ago, there was an issue. And if there is a matter of public health concern or emergency, doctors are obligated to report to the minister.
Yes, no that health concern in the Basel High School. And here's what he advised the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister said this about the Basel High School.
There is nothing wrong with the school. I am a parent. I am a medical doctor. I have seen the reports myself. I have read them both. And the school is safe for us to continue to conduct our business of teaching students and learning as students.
Imagine that. Nothing is wrong with the Basel High School, and teachers having their breaking outs, students are breaking out. And could you imagine those two doctors advising a government in this crisis of COVID? Let's go back to Elijah's call. You live.
A very pleasant good evening to you, Dr. Ian Patches Liburd. Do you know who this is?
Oh, culture. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered by the things you have said. Welcome back, culture.
I am here all the time.
Man. What's on your mind?
A very pleasant good evening to you as the host. And Mr. Bradley, thank you for taking my little input call. Patches, I wouldn't be long tonight, but every disappointment has its good in it. And it's a good thing that I had decided to raise my vocal cords 1 month before I took sick. And so the sickness said, okay, you wouldn't hear? Okay, you arrest them now. And while I'm here at rest, Patches, I'm having a lot of vision and a lot of things I have when I open up and I come out of the tunnel. My upper torso is completely out of the tunnel. So I'm just letting my feet cool off from the journey that I walk. So you will hear me soon laying on my punches. But here it is, Patches. I want to say a big, big thank you, universally, globally, to all the listeners to Straight Talk program tonight. Tomorrow you're going to hear them saying, I hear culture on the radio, but they're going to say, I come on to say thank you for everyone who offered me get well wishes and all the prayers that they sent for me. I thank them very much. The prayers went up to the Creator and His Son who came to save the world. And they answer my prayers, and see me here tonight. I'm stronger than ever. Strong and powerful. So how are you doing, Patches?
I am wonderful, peaceful, my brother. Good to hear you.
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been listening every program. And Rock, Jam Down, Are You Good Night, and Janet in Station Good Night. They are ardent listeners. They don't lean up, especially Janet now and Rock. They're right there. Well, Patches, I want to tell you something. Something that you forgot last time you were here on the radio. Now, there is a special DJ who refuses to play music these times, but take the time that the DJ is working to find, to cross the unity, everybody in the unity, and even take out his text on you. But I'm going to show you something that you don't remember. When somebody cannot be trusted confidentially, it's a dangerous thing. You remember some years ago when the United States FBI come here to sink it for somebody who was to be extradited to the America? That individual was walking up the airport in the control tower. And when the plane was lined up and ready to come in and touch down, that individual breached the confidence of the port authority and called somebody who was his boss and tell them the plane is coming in to pick up the fugitive, as they call him fugitive, who extradited the person to the States. And that could have been what you call a catastrophe happening up the airport, Patches, because ignorant people who don't care nothing about the country, they could have gone up the airport and chop bombs on the airport and do all kind of thing to mash up the plane and the system. So when people cannot be trusted in their job, where else they going to be trusted? Where they working now? They're working with the same boss who they call and tell what was going on up the airport. Yes, so I call to remind you of that. Cannot be trusted. So when they're talking about you cannot hold a job, no way. Let it clean the oil first. Let it clean out the beam out of their eyes. And that is now, if somebody send me information on my wall, as they call it, the radio station wall, where they read what people said, WhatsApp and email, and they want to call me tall and bony and all kind of derogative thing. But they ain't gonna say, culture you tall and you bony and this and that and this. What is this and that? This and that are not derogative words. They must read what the people write on the wall. They say that they're calling me Arconin, they're calling me ugly and this and that. The people might say ugly, but there are other words which has meaning, which a vast population of the people in Bastia know what was on the wall, but they refuse to read it. Anyway they read it, they will be ashamed of themselves and they will never come back on the radio computer. That is, let me tell you something. I got something for you, I promise, long time, you know. But, like I said, the vocals, when the vocals them smoothed up, you're going to hear them. All of them, they who now take the vaccine round the back of the house and then come out to the front of the yard and trying to discourage people. They are what you call worse than hypocrites. Worse than that. They're saving their lives, but they're encouraging people to take their life. Patrick, you make a comment, man. You make a comment.
You're so correct, my brother. They are hypocritical, immoral.
And that is, I got what you call a six verse calypso. What happened here in St. Kitts? And all of them naming it. Six verse. So whenever I'm ready with that calypso, that's going to be my only calling to your radio program. 6 verse, they ain't long, they're short. They're very short, and people going to be able to relate to what I'm saying. All they have to do is listen carefully and listen to the lyrics. Write down to our passport money. You hear me? That was laundered to an individual, and that is what they use to try to mash up unity, people. Unity means come together. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is unity. 3 in 1, which is one God, one power. So anybody who try to mash up anything that God built up, they will fail. They will fail. They cannot move who God bless. Who God bless, not a man curse. And who God blood pass over, they can't do them nothing. I have more to say, but anyway, I promise I just come to tell everybody, thanks for the goodwill wishes and the praise. And God bless the country and everybody in the country, good and bad, because those who believe that bad and ignorant and stupid and trying to mash up the country, they're going to come to their knees very soon. The country will reach out and get the blessing that belongs to it, that come from God. Brother Patrick, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Culture. You sound like you're really stronger than ever.
Remember, I tell you, if you go in Mount that volcano, I'm going to be there with you. You know, so I'm charged up with the lava from the volcano.
Yeah, you sound strong. Yes. Good to hear, man.
Even the St. Kitts got the most doctors and the most scientists, and the most radiologists. None of them X-ray me. None of them is any scientist to say, well then, okay, this is for he, and that is for he. And none of them are no doctors, but everybody know. Everybody know what happened to me, and what happened to you, and what happened to you. Thank God, what I said no so. What I said no so. Me children and my wife and the doctor, and God know what happened. Like I mentioned before, I should have taken a break long time. And I got to be careful now, otherwise it will reactivate. But I will tell you something, I learned something in 1968. The year before I get my truck driver's R-type license, 1969 I get my license. I saw a woman in the Trinidad Express, because I used to buy the Express every day to read about Leslie King, the cyclist in Trinidad. And what they had on the front leaf, extra read all about it. Sparrow dead. And Patrick, when I realized the mighty Sparrow ain't dead, I said, how could they print something like that for the man? They ain't see the man dead, they ain't kill him. But they don't print he dead. And the man ain't dead, so I learned my lesson from there. Them sidewalk doctors, when you hear them talking just like the panic factory, just tell them you don't work for solid waste. And all the garbage where they got them solid waste. That is good night. I'm going to continue to listen.
Good night, my brother. Good to hear you.
Yeah, you don't fight, man. Culture always here. You know, it's so easy, you know. Okay, I got strong willpower and I believe in God. I believe God can take me with it. I don't pass the worst. The worst in St. Thomas. And the minute they need that in that kind of thing, even me going to kill me so. Okay then, good night.
Good night, my brother.
Motion criticizing our CMO and the government. He should be ashamed of himself to go criticize the hospital. He was the CMO up there for loads of years. He ain't do nothing to the inferno. That day make a lot of people in Buckley get sick. Look at the mortuary up there. The mortuary was out of commission for years while he was a CMO. And that was out of commission without repair because a big politician, Labour supporter, he has a funeral home. The longer the hospital stay out of commission, he will be getting the work. So when the population doctor go up on radio, go criticize our CMO and the government and finding all kind of fault, let he talk about his history and his legacy what he had up there.
Okay, my straight up family, let's go back to the lines. I want to thank you for holding caller. You're live.
Yes, good evening, I am Patrick. Looking at you as an ambassador, right? Somebody tell me, right, that it's supposed to be a younger person to be an ambassador instead of you, but I don't know. But looking at Nevis now, they said he got an ambassador next door by you in America, and he used to pack bag and pack shelves, and his money used for his education that he could study. So he next door you in America. And looking at this school, there is in the Boston High School yet, and Kawiri is still working with the health thing and calling on the health affair, the woman of health affair. Please to look after College Street gut, and please to stop taking a lot of money and ain't doing no work. So thank you. Have a good night. Not because I ain't seeing you, but to see you. Have a good night.
Very much. This just hot from the press. Release issued by the Ministry of Health, issued by the Office of the Chief Medical Officer, which reads, and I quote, "This evening, Monday, June 14th, 2021, I wish to update you on the present COVID-19 situation. Over this past weekend, we have recorded 22 additional cases. These new cases are nationals. The individuals are in isolation and are being monitored. These cases bring the total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to 209, with 195 cases for St. Kitts and 14 cases for Nevis. Please note that 64 cases have been fully recovered with 0 deaths. There are now 145 active cases. The Ministry of Health continues its robust contact tracing exercise, which began on Wednesday, May 19, 2021, and we will update you as the situation unfolds. We will broaden our web of contact tracing and testing to identify all possible contacts. The aim is to break the chains of transmission of the COVID-19 virus and contain this cluster of cases. The Ministry of Health wishes to assure the public that all measures are being taken to restrict the spread of the coronavirus. We urge you to adhere to the COVID-19 prevention and control measures. These include wearing of face masks, maintaining good hand hygiene, maintaining physical distance of at least 6 feet from others when in public places, and avoiding crowds, and events. These non-pharmaceutical measures work, and we are encouraging everyone to comply with them, especially at this time. We remind you that the AstraZeneca Oxford COVID-19 vaccine is our main tool in fighting this virus, and we urge you to come forward and get vaccinated. By getting vaccinated, you are not only protecting yourself, but those who cannot be vaccinated, such as all of our school children. We continue to encourage persons to empower themselves with the facts about the benefits of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine and take advantage of this opportunity to be vaccinated. You can access the COVID-19 vaccine at any health center in St. Kitts during this week, Monday to Friday, between the hours of 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and any health center in Nevis during this week, between the hours of 1 to 4 p.m. Let us work together to maintain and protect the health and well-being of the people of the Federation. So, not good news, some additional cases, and these additional 22 cases bring the total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to 209, with 195 in St. Kitts and 14 cases on Nevis, and 64 cases have been fully recovered. Let's go back to the lines. I want to thank you for holding, caller. Okay, so there's some cases, as you said, and things are not looking good. But here's what. We go back to the lines. Caller, let's take this email, I must say. Mr. Ambassador, I must bring your letter to your attention. I was very sad and shocked when I read your letter, which has been circulated on WhatsApp last night and this morning. I've never been in receipt of one letter so many times in one day. I would like you to explain what is the objective of your letter. In a crisis as this, what you call a pandemic, there was no time for this letter you circulated. It makes me wonder how much you were supporting PAM. It's really food for thought, because it means that you are now confirming that you're running on a pale ticket. I'm getting the impression that we would be having a snap election from all I am hearing. Your letter, your timing was the wrong time. I'm very disappointed, as Dumpling is saying, and please let her know that I was there for the signing of the document, and to me it was meaningless, because the next election would tell a different story. Your letter has reached even England. It should have gone all around the world, my dear brother. If your name is correct, you're hiding behind your pen. But the letter is self-explanatory. And as I said in the letter as well, I mean, how could I exit at a time when so many constituents are suffering, and instead of providing relief, the party was focusing on general election, and so are you. It's now 2 minutes before the 10 o'clock. I'll take a few more calls, my Straight Talk family, as we wind down tonight's programming. But as I said, we go back to the lines. Caller, I don't seem to understand that. Okay, so as we wind down, you're mixing me up there, Alva. whatever that signal means. I'm a bit confused, but nonetheless, my Sherlock family, you may have joined me late. And as we wind down tonight's programming, I want to really conclude by urging you to go and get vaccinated. No matter what they say, there's no water in the vaccines, as Douglas tried to suggest. There's no need for Prime Minister Harris to write to Douglas to ask him what? To ask him if he still believes that water is in the AstraZeneca vaccines? For 20 years, Douglas has not practiced medicine. So we don't even know, as he claims he's a medical doctor, if he still has a license to practice medicine. But as I said before, as I said during my program, there has been a standard of virtue, purity, always upheld on straight talk. My straight talk family, we do not speak like any academic. We don't speak academically, for that matter. And or we do not speak in the abstract. Or worse yet, we do not speak hypothetically. Our discussion is always based on fact and truth. And some people don't like the truth, because truth passes through stages, 3 stages. First, they'll try to ridicule it. Secondly, they violently oppose it. And thirdly, they eventually accept it as being self-evident. And once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, it has to be the truth. The truth is, as I said, some in our midst live every day, it seems, to cast doubt on our immunization program. There are some people who have a genuine concern or have genuine concerns, but there are others who, for their own selfish and political gain, continue to discourage persons from taking the vaccine, although they themselves are fully aware that mass vaccination is a way to get countries back to normal. They have taken their vaccines, but they are encouraging people to wait for another vaccines. That is disingenuous, and as a doctor, that I say is immoral. But, my straight dog family, do not allow them to discourage you.
Immunization continues to be our path out of COVID's shadow. Unfortunately, there are still some in our country who want to cast doubt on the validity of our country's immunization program. While some persons have genuine concerns, there are others who, for their own selfish and political gain, have been discouraging persons from taking the vaccine, knowing full well that the experience everywhere in the world is that mass vaccination is the most effective way to protect yourself and get countries back to normalcy and out of the shadow of the pandemic.
My Shedok family, after reading an article I found in the National Library of Medicine, that is a part of the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, which is the primary agency of the United States government responsible for biomedical and public health research. Now, the article entitled "The Moral Foundation of Medical Leadership, the Professional Virtues of the Physician as Fiduciary of the Patient" was written by F.A. Chevenac and L.B. McCullough. My understanding is the fiduciary duty extends to all aspects of the doctor-patient relationship, including financial and legal obligations. Now, my children family, for example, a breach of fiduciary duty to a patient can subject doctor or physician to liability and liability under commercial laws. So I want us to focus, as we leave, on the bond of trust between the patient and the doctor, which is vital to the diagnostic and therapeutic process. Fiduciary derives from the Latin word fiduciarius, which means in English confidence and trust. Leadership in medicine, as in other settings, should be based on values that provide appropriate direction for the use of institutional power and authority. So when these doctors are misguiding you and saying you must wait, I said with the greatest respect, these three doctors who are promoting hesitancy are doctors who have left a stain, a moral stain on the medical fraternity and on our country. That's the way I'm going to end it, my Straight Talk family, because my time is done and I've got to run. Mr. Carty, I'm not going to read your email that has propaganda about people dying and about autopsy, because you don't know what autopsy came from the hospital. So do not write those emails on this program. This is not a panic factory. So please desist from that. My time is done, my Straight Talk family, and I've got to run. But I want to thank Almighty God in the process for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the many callers. I know some of you did not get in, but try again. Those who sent emails, those on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and we're going to expand that social platform as well. I'll tell you more about that. But those of you as well on radio ZIZ 96.5 on your FM band. Without you, there's no Straight Talk. What I mean, Straight Talk, or you, in fact, make Straight Talk, and for that, I say a big, big thank you. I want to thank Albert Bradley, our producer. I want to thank Bevan Wilkinson in the background, and John James as well, and all ZZ staff in the background. I don't have all their names, but without you as well, there's no Straight Talk. So I say a big, big thank you. Go get vaccinated, my family. That's the only way you can protect yourselves. It's a tool we have available. Use it. The best vaccine is the vaccine that's available first. Do not wait. Our country needs you to help to arrest the situation. Do not fall to the politicking. Do not fall to what you hear in the panic factory. Just remember, whatever your mind conceives, that you will achieve. But first of all, you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Until we connect on Thursday, bye-bye. Have yourself the best of what's left of tonight. Be good to all whom you meet, and be good to yourself. Keep moving on. My Straight Talk family.